What is up, everyone? Today we have a yard machine, 550E, 140cc Briggs engine on it. It's a pretty much a standard for homeowner that just wants to cut on the weekends type thing. There is a bag on this one, but the person that owns it just didn't bring it to me because I told him not to. Other than that, bought this a few years ago and decided that needed a little tune up. Went out to do a first mow of the year, and lo and behold, it wouldn't start. So now it's here. So let's go ahead and get started. This is not the auto choke version. You do have to prime it. Not sure which one I like better, to be honest. It's easier to work on this one, I'll give you that. Another thing, it's brimming full of fuel. He says it's new fuel. Doesn't smell too bad though. Oil, let's check the oil. Looks both clean and full. I don't think this had a lot of use, to be honest. I mean, I think it's been outside or something very similar. But put you in the stand. What we're going to need are a 5/16 socket and a 9/32 and an air compressor and a screwdriver, and I think like a pair of vice grips. This is kind of unnecessary, but I like to take the cover off first. Just 3. Kind of gives you the ability to kind of clean stuff up too. It doesn't look like there's any spiders. I live in an area with no black widows or anything like that, so it's not super horrible, but I do get brown recluses. Those are never fun. So the next thing, this is just to make it easier on ourselves. We're going to lift up the fuel tank. Any spiders? No. Okay, good. Uh-oh. It's so full it's coming out the top. Now we take our vice grips. I'm going to just pinch off the fuel line. Next, we're going to take off the fuel line. Just going to move the clip over. Now you don't need these pliers, but you can't really see much, can you? You don't really need these next set of pliers, but it definitely makes things a lot easier. I don't know about you, but my life is already complicated enough. So if you're kind of in the way to make this easier, so. There we go. Now there will be a little spillage of fuel, but that's just the fuel that was in the line after the vice grips. Yeah, right there. Put this down somewhere. Now we have all that out of our way. You can take this off. Wow, that does look dirty, don't get me wrong. It's not horrible. Let's take off the cover. This is when we need the most common size of socket, and that of course is a 9/32. Yeah. Why you can't just use 2 5/16, I don't know. But these screw into the body of the carb, so you want to be very careful. Next, 5/16 screws into metal and holds this. cover onto the engine. And the other one's right here. Okay. If this was the auto choke, this is where it would be a little more difficult, because there would be another linkage on here. But there's not. This just comes right out. Now we go to the carb station. Now that we have this out, let's tip this over. I cleaned up a little bit of it on the outside. Kind of just want to take a look at the fuel. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a neighbor of mine. I have no suspicion that he's telling me the truth, but there's always those. But there's always those oversights. That looks good. I don't think he was missing anything. Because, you know, 1 year turns into 2, and then 2 turns into 4, and then 4 turns into last summer, and yeah. But that definitely looks like there's water in there. That's a problem. So with a clean screwdriver, take this and just kind of pry up on this piece right here, and it should snap right out. And be careful, it is plastic. There we go. That was where the old fuel was from the looks of it. Oh yeah. Definitely getting a little greener. So now I'm going to take an air compressor while holding, where is it? Oh yeah, at the top, for make sure that these do not fly everywhere. I'm going to be holding there and just kind of putting my finger over this one, blowing through the main, blowing through each one of these. Wash your hands before you do so, and then that should clean this up. Everything should be good to go. Press this back in. There we go. Once it clicks, you are set. This probably would be good idea to kind of clean out a little bit, because it did have water. There is that little drain there, but I don't think I've ever heard of anyone ever using it. It's kind of like a treadmill. When you get it, you're like, oh wow, this is amazing. I'm going to use it every day. Awesome. And then you never used it. Probably went through a pretty decent expense to have it too, but it's never been used. Okay, and put these screws back in, and then we will put the tank back on. I'm going to look at the gas in the tank real quick to make sure, and we'll try it. What we're going to do is we're going to look at this fuel coming out. We don't need a lot, because water will settle, and the first thing that you see, there we go. Doesn't look bad. I think we're okay. Everything's back on. Everything should be okay. Yeah, I don't really know much more we would have to do, but let's hopefully it works. Let's see. Yep, that should be about it. So this is a pretty common problem, especially where I live, where there's a lot of rain. Or if it's just generally in the northern areas, you're going to have a lot of this occurring. If you have ethanol fuel, you have a weather change, you're going to have water in your gas eventually. Only real way to avoid that, let it drain all the way out, put it away. You could put fuel stabilizer in there, might work, maybe cause even more problems. Just avoid the cost, avoid the hassle. Invest in a $1 bag of zip ties. Zip tie a handle, and it's going to last you years. And then just let it go. Cut the zip tie off when it's done. Put it away. That's all. Yes, it's not perfect, but it's better than an alternative. Okay, well, if you like what you see, keep on watching. Definitely subscribe. Put a thumbs up. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good rest of your day.